Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we are playing some Esper Affinity. We're going to be trying out a couple different lists that are a little bit different from my stock list. Of course, I have a stock list for Esper Affinity if you're interested in that. I have several videos on it. But the first one we're going to start with is this list by Gilberto Antunes. They are a player who, big grinder. They usually play a lot of like mono red rally, and things like that, but they've seemingly picked up Esper Affinity as one of their main decks as well, putting up a couple of trophies with it. And so this is one of their lists. It's not too dissimilar from our main stock list, but there are definitely some differences. One of the main ones being that we are running no Mirror Enforcers at all, and instead we're going to be running the Gearseeker Serpent. Now, Gearseeker Serpent, I have some issues with in general. It's just, it doesn't cost 0 mana as a Mirror Enforcer does, but it is a 5/6. It's obviously bigger, and it also in late games and game board stalls and things like that can just become unblockable, which can be really good. The extra power and 2 toughness can be really important against terror, but we already generally have a decent terror matchup because of Tithing Blades, Graveyard Hate, a lot of chump blockers, and just card advantage, things like that. But we're going to try it out. So there's the Gearseeker Serpents. We're also playing a couple Thorn of the Black Rose in the main deck. They had some lists running both Thorn and Goliath Paladin, which you can see in the sideboard in the main deck, but this is their most recent list with the trophy. So 2 Thorns in the main deck. We've talked a little bit in the Esper Affinity, or rather, the Glit Hawk Discord, that Thorn might not be super necessary because the standard or stock list Esper Affinity deck already has pretty good matchups against anything grindy, control, or mid-range. So do we really need Thorn of the Black Rose? I'm not entirely sure, but I figured might as well give it a try because it is making a little bit of it's doing well with this trophy list, obviously. We're still doing 4 Cast Down, 2 Thraben Charm, and a Suffocating Fumes, with 2 Tithing Blade, 2 Grim Bauble, 1 of Navigator's Compass in the main deck, 4 Glint Hawk, 4 Skyfisher, and 4 Cryogen Relic. But instead of Metallic Rebuke, very interestingly, we're playing Lose Focus. This obviously can't be just 1 mana, as Metallic Rebuke can be, but this can be a much harder counterspell in the late game. Of course, you also have to deal with the fact that you don't have the most blue. I mean, we have plenty of blue mana, but, being able to replicate this 3 or 4 times can be pretty difficult in this deck. But if you're late enough that that's relevant, then ideally it won't be too big of a deal. And then otherwise, our mana base, pretty similar. They were running both a Swamp and a Bojuka Bog, which I've tried out a little bit, as opposed to just one or the other. Otherwise, all artifact lands. And then sideboard, that 1 of Goliath Paladin I mentioned, some Dust to Dust, Thraben Charm, Blue Elemental Blast, Shrivel, Duress, and Compass. So except for the Goliath Paladin, pretty standard to what I play as well. So let's just take it in for a league and see how we do. All right, round 1 here, and 1 land. It's not even an artifact land. We do have the Navigator's Compass on the play. We cannot keep a 1-lander for sure. All right, this one's fine. We'll get rid of the Swamp, since ideally there won't be artifact hate in game 1. Cross our fingers. This hand's not amazing, but if we get white mana, we can obviously Skyfisher back either of these, whichever is most effective. And even without it, we have, some removal and a little bit of card advantage. Start with a Bojuka Bog. Lose Focus can be okay. I'm just going to start with a Refurb, though, to get some damage going. Krark-Clan Shaman, so it looks like Jund, I would guess. Grixis doesn't usually play the Bojuka Bog, so yeah, there we go. Jund indeed. Blood Fountain. Tithing Blade, not going to be the most effective against Jund. Lose Focus. Probably you'll be able to catch something, especially because that's what we're holding up this turn, since we can't cast anything else, at least not effectively. Refurb, yeah, we'll counter that. So lets us keep attacking with the Refurb of our own. Oh, and they don't have another land, which is pretty nice. Ancient Den, also pretty nice. So we get to crack for 2, Skyfisher, Refurb them again, double our clock, and they just concede. I mean, they were lowish on cards and missing land drops, but that was maybe a bit premature. And they conceded the whole match. Well, that might be a record for winning a whole match. That was, like 2 minutes? 1 minute, according to this? They just can't beat it. Esper's too good. I mean, Esper does have a pretty good matchup against Jund, I will say. But not usually that good. But on to round 2. All right. On the play here, and not going to keep that. Not going to keep this one either, unfortunately. Hey, I'm building the Jund Pauper deck Wildfire. I'm new to Pauper and seen some clips of Tolarian Terror, and that deck looks crazy good to me. How does Jund do against it? Yeah, it's I think it's pretty even, but maybe Terror is a little favored, just because Jund has a lot of really powerful cards there, but it's just a little slow and can be really taken advantage of by an early Terror that, you know, you have cast downs, but it's 4 mana to kill the Terror. If you don't get a Chrysalis down, you can't chump block it for a while, but if you do, then you can chump it for a while, and so yeah, I think it's a decent matchup, but it's not the best thing ever, probably. Let's put back a Thraben Charm, and I guess maybe the cast down. Hopefully the Tithing Blade will be good enough. Plus I want the Tithing Blade for the affinity count for Thoughtcast, so hopefully they'll play something here. Even an Epicure I would Tithing Blade away. Alright, well I guess I'll just hold up Lose Focus then. I'm not going to run out the Tithing Blade for no benefit, at least not yet. If it's just a random creature, I probably would Tithing Blade this, but the fact that this opens the way to another spell... Well, I guess I can let this resolve and then counter whatever comes next, and then Tithing Blade this away. That seems fine to me. So if this was a Metallic Rebuke, I wouldn't be able to use it there, notably. Ooh, okay, Cryogen is tough, because I kind of want to get that down to start drawing cards, hopefully at our land drop, but we don't want to let them get any free damage on us. If they play another Rally or anything that makes 1/1s, then this Tithing Blade will suddenly not be getting quite as much power out of it. So I think we just cast it there and hope we top deck a land. There's a Clockwork Percussionist. Good day, friends. Big Pauper paper tourney on Sunday. Men is all pawns and blue snakes. Thinking Jund is my savior. Yeah, Jund could be good. Ponza, I mean, you have a lot of indestructible lands. You can wildfire their not rampant growth lands, their wild growth lands, so that could be good. I could Grimbauble this, but I can't play anything else. Oh, actually, no, I could. That'd be 4 Affinity. So I could Grimbauble and then Thoughtcast. Or I could just Cryogen. I mean, this isn't my favorite thing to kill. They also cast Reckless Impulse. They have another Impulse next turn and an Epicure. So if I kill this, it's possible they won't have the mana to cast everything if they get like a 2-drop. So I think we'll go for it. Percussionist turns up a mountain. Well, that's going to make it easier, obviously, to cast everything. And we do hit the land drop. Nice. Yeah, all Ponza and blue snakes. Jund seems good. Black Sack could be pretty good there. Pretty good matchup against Ponza. You don't need that many lands, and you can grow bigger than their guys a lot of times, and then pretty good matchup against Terror as well. There's a Tomb Raider. They still have a Synth in exile and 3 cards in hand. Not the most aggressive start, but they are keeping their value up. Seat. I'm just going to Thoughtcast. Fumes is good, although probably just playing a Terror, not a Terror, a Serpent, same thing, is probably worth it, because Fumes doesn't necessarily look like it's going to get the most value. Obviously, if they go for a Rally or something, it will. But this is also going to be hard for them to kill, and makes attackers tough, and then if they have to flood the board a little bit more, then it makes the Fumes even better next turn. Play the Synth into an Epicure. Oh, hell yeah, gonna watch the video primer for Sack. Good idea. Sounds great. I hope it speaks to you. In any case, no matter what you play, I hope you have some good luck. Play the Epicure. I just had a big tournament this last Saturday myself. Our end of league 1K. We didn't end up getting enough people to beat an actual 1K, so it was like a half K. But 5 rounds and then cut to top 4, and I took Black Sack to that, and I ended up winning the whole thing, going 7-0, which was pretty sweet. And Black Sack just crushed. Everybody was on combo or Terror. Honestly, there were like 3 Terror players, and Black Sack just tears through those. So I think we'll Thoughtcast. If I hit nothing here, I can just hold up Suffocating Fumes. Perfect. So I can play Goldmire, and then yeah, I think we'll hold up the Fumes. If I don't use it, I can also just crack a Grimbauble, so we'll pass here. Thanks, man. We'll report back on Monday in any case. Congrats on your big win. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hello, Strata. One question for you for now. The best deck in Pauper format. Thanks so much, Dan. The best deck in the format is... I mean, if I'm being honest, I probably don't have the most unique perspective. It's probably Mono Blue Terror or it's Jund. Oh, look at this. This one of Suffocating Fumes paying dividends already. It's so good. Yeah, I mean, if I had to say, I'd say it's one of those. If you want me to say, you know, my opinion, I think Black Sack's one of the best decks. It's probably not actually the best deck in the format, but I do think Black Sack is, like, much higher than most people give it credit for. I think it's probably top 5 or 7 best decks in the format, and people just don't play it enough for it to really show up. They do have a Galvanic Blast, so the Serpent's going to trade here, but they're at 2 cards now, and now I can finally get down my Skyfisher. I think we're going to be okay here. Raven Charm, play a Relic. Yeah, no kidding, people love their spies. Yeah, I wasn't even necessarily expecting a ton of Spy, but I think there were 3 people on Spy, 2 people on Dredge at my event, and 2 people on Cycle Storm. So like Graveyard combo was just everywhere. Thanks for answering. No problem, Zeus. I'm always here to answer whatever questions you got. Reckless Impulse hits Mountain Lightning Bolt. Kill the Skyfisher and play a Mountain. Tomb Raider, I'll just trade. I'm not in a rush to get damage on them as long as I can just stop them from doing anything. They got no cards, they just have a synth. I think we'll be okay here. Another Cryogen, cast down. Alright, I'll just hold up Lose Focus in case I really need it for anything relevant. Like, I'll counter another Reckless Impulse to draw 2. And I assume they'll start with the Synth, which will make it so I can counter whatever. Burning Tree Emissary, I can just cast that down. I guess I'm going to cast down the Samurai, so I could Lose Focus this, but I think it's fine. I'd rather counter the card advantage, something like that. Yeah, we'll spend 3 mana to counter this guy. That can turn into an actual other card, so I'd rather counter it than one of these. Especially when we just have a bunch of cast downs, which we now have. Alright, I'll just pass. Shoot both of these, then we can start drawing cards with Grim Bauble and stuff. Probably want to crack the Grim Bauble in the upkeep. Or I could just flip a Tithing Blade. Yeah, we'll just pass. Gearseeker Serpent? Okay, we should get that down. So 1 mana short of flipping the Tithing, but now I have an actual clock on them. Can still sack the Grim Bauble at the end step here. Alright, won that game. So we get Blue Blasts, Shrivels, Compass. Thorn is not for this matchup. Cast Down, not really either. Actually, Thraben Charm's just worse cast down. I think I always do that, cut cast down and then realize Thraben Charm's just worse in this matchup. 1 card left. Lose Focus actually has some value. I guess Tithing Blade is worse than cast down, right? Except for the repeatable nature, the life gain. Yeah, we'll just do that. Alright. A little slow, which could be a problem. But we'll give it a try. Some decent value here. But the untapped land being the swamp is pretty brutal because that means I can't actually play a turn 2 refurb unless I draw like a Vault of Whispers here. How to know you've made it? You get messages from viewbots. Yep, I guess I've really made it now. So proud of myself. How's it going, Komodo Drake? Double Tomb Raider. That's not really what I like to see. We had a lot of good draws because a Vault of Whispers would have been allowing me to cast a refurb. Just a blue elemental blast would have been nice. I could, of course, Glinthawk or Skyfisher here, but then it just eats a bolt and I've set myself back a land, so I think we just have to pass like this. Submarsh, Gilberto here. Is this my list? Yes, it is, actually. I have seen some of the tweaks, some of the cards you've been trying out, and thought that they looked pretty interesting. So we're running the, I think, most recent trophy list you had, which is 2 Thorns in the main deck, 3 Lose Focus, and I feel like there was something else different about it. Oh, the Serpents, Gearseekers. So, yeah, trying it out. I thought it looked interesting. Looks like we're just going to die to a bunch of these guys, but what can you do about that? Obviously, we can play a refurb. I could then Glinthawk back a land if I want the blocker that badly, which I probably do. It's not great, but if I just pick this up, I just feel like I'm pretty dead already. All right, they're going to smash that. Well, that wasn't what I was going to pick up, but now we're at 1. Like, we block here, we go to 1. Maybe we can stabilize if we get a Compass or something off the top. Yeah, so I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream, obviously I was talking about the list and its differences. If you're interested, I'd be happy to know some of your card choices. Well, I've already sideboarded here, but I was saying that the Monarch and the Initiative is super interesting here. I feel like generally the matchup of like my stock list is for our grindy matchups is already pretty decent. So I'm not sure exactly, like, not that the Monarch's bad, but if it's necessary, and it feels like it's tougher for some of these like more aggressive matchups. So I was interested about that. Gearseeker Serpent obviously isn't free like Mirror Enforcer, but it can block terrors better, and so I assume that's kind of the intention of that, and it doesn't die to Galvanic Blast and stuff like that. And then the Lose Focus especially was interesting to me because I've been playing Metallic Rebuke, which obviously can be 1 mana, but I assume you're looking for a counter spell that doesn't fall off as soon, since Lose Focus can be good in the late game. Yeah, I don't know. Those are my assumptions, but if you're interested, feel free to correct me about anything. Alright, this hand doesn't have blue. I thought it had blue and it looked so much better because then we have Blast and a Shrivel. Now all we have is Shrivel. I think we got to mulligan that. Alright. We had to mulligan, but we got the exact same hand, and now we have our blue mana. Yeah, I think we're getting rid of the Gearseeker. I think that's right. Oh, well, let's actually do it. Serpents for Terrors and Gruul. Yep, makes sense. Gruul definitely has been a bit of an issue. There's an Epicure. Just going to hold up a Blue Blast. Not that I have a choice. That's all I can do anyway. Well, I guess I could shoot the Epicure, but I'm not. I'm going to let Epicures go by because I can obviously just Shrivel them if they play a Tomb Raider, I might shoot that, but they just swing for 1 and pass. Ooh, okay. So I'd like to get a little more value out of my Shrivel, and now that we got the Compass, so I can have something to play with the Blue Blast, we're just going to do that. Hold this up again, and then next turn, I can like Thoughtcast Shrivel. We'll counter anything that doesn't die to the Shrivel, we'll probably counter any 2 toughness creature, but a Rally at the Hornburg would be great, because yeah, obviously just Shrivel it. Synth is pretty good. And they have 1 mana left. It could be a Tomb Raider, which doesn't get shriveled away. I kind of think we're going to counter this. Maybe I should just save this for like a Cast in the Fire or something. Bushwhacker. That's fine. We do take a hit of damage, but we get to shrivel all 3 of these away. And Thoughtcast as well. No land drop, but we'll wipe the board there. Reckless Impulse hits Double Mountain. Okay. And there's a Rally. Well, this is pretty annoying, because I don't think I can just hold up a Lose Focus, because we're already taking damage, so I feel like I have to Relic. If I hit an untapped land, then I can hold up Lose Focus, and that would be nice. Okay. Plus I can hold up Cracking the Cryogen if I need. The main take of this list is the extra counter. The main difference between this list and my stock list is Lose Focus instead of Metallic Rebuke. We're trying Thorn of the Black Rose in the main deck, and Gearseeker Serpent instead of Mirror Enforcers. So a couple main differences, but otherwise it's pretty much the standard shell. We could definitely use our other Shrivel or Suffocating Fumes, or just some creatures to pick these up. Okay, that's something. Let's play the Refurb. If they have a Bolt, they'll probably cast it in response. If not, it'll get discarded. If it is cast in response, then I get to at least draw a card. I could Lose Focus this, because we're going down to 5, and then humans can put us to 2 here. I can hold off one of these with a Cryogen or a Tithing Blade. I think we'll probably do that and hope they don't draw anything relevant. Because if I just hold up Lose Focus here, I can stop whatever, but I block, and then I'm still just dying next turn, I think. So let's go for a Blade. Oh yes, I played a list with Serpent in the past. No Lose Focus though. Yeah, it's some new cards for me as well. I figured I'd give them a try. Let's see if we died a Bolt here. Epicure. Alright, down to 2. Blue Blast, a little late. I guess we're not dead yet, because I can stun one of these and I can kill the Epicure with the Blast. Glinthawk's a great draw. We're low enough we need to just pick up the Compass, but this means we don't die to 1 Bolt. It also makes their attacks kind of bad. Alright, we can maybe hold on here. Tomb Raider, I'll let that resolve, because if they attack... They might attack with it and these 2, and then I get to blast the Tomb Raider and eat one of these guys for free. I'm going to eat the token, because if we draw another Blue Blast, I might want the red Epicure to be around so I can shoot it. We are within a Galvanic Blast range still, although we get perfect draw. So as soon as we're not in 1 removal spell or burn spell's range of dying, I'll stop picking up the Compass probably, but for now I'm gonna pick it back up, play it again, then we can Lose Focus for 4. So I'm not gonna hit any 1-drops, but otherwise I'll be good. I don't think there's any reason to attack here though, because if I attack and then they bolt this, I can't Lose Focus it, and then they get in for 2 damage for free, and I don't really like that. And they concede. Okay. I mean, we were in a good spot, but they could still top deck out of it, and I don't know, I don't feel like we quite won the match, but we'll take it. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. Round 3 here. This hand looks pretty awkward. We don't have 2 artifact lands, so I can't even refurb. Cast down's all we can cast. I think we got a mulligan this one. Pretty similar, but at least we don't have a tap land on turn 2, although it's still not an artifact land, so I can't refurb for sure. I don't really want to go down lower. I think we'll keep this one and get rid of the Serpent. Hope that our cast downs can keep us alive long enough to just draw into our lands. Hey dude, finally able to catch your stream live. How's the deck? Going all right so far. We're 2-0. Trying some new cards out in Esper Affinity. Glad you're able to catch it live. And Ilvoy Galeblade. Okay, so we're against fairies. Cast downs are going to be good. I'm just going to kill this now so they can't ninja us. Obviously, if they did a ninja the Deep Hours and I could cast that down, that'd be pretty good. But if they just go with the Moon Circuit Hacker and hold up a Dispel, I try to cast it down, then it's kind of a bad spot. Although that might be exactly what we're doing here if we don't get a land. Brutal. Yeah, I'm going to cast this down. I could wait till their upkeep, but then they have actual counterspell mana up. And then if they also have Island, Moon-Circuit Hacker, it's not great. Brine Barrow Intruder. Well, looks like they're going to get their ninja one way or another. I did my best to keep it gone. Obviously, I could have just waited until they hackered here. Usually it's better to not go for it right away. Well, this swamp is killing us. Obviously, we're just getting some rough draws too, but taking 3. Nope, they got a Ninja of the Deep Hours. They return the Moon-Circuit Hacker, which is interesting. I guess Tithing Blade is something to play. Now they have the Spell Pierce. I'll just cast another Brine Barrow. Okay. Fairy Miscreant. So they didn't even Moon-Circuit Hacker. They also played the Miscreant very conspicuously before combat. I assume they have a Spell Stutter on 2 here. Now we get our land. I mean, if they don't have actual counterspell, then a Refurb into a Thought Cast can be pretty good, if all they have is Spell Stutter. But there is the counterspell. Swing for 4, 5 if they want a Moon Circuit. They do. Glint Hawk. Still expecting a Spell Stutter sprite, so I guess I'll Thought Cast. If they want to counter that, I can Glint Hawk. Although if they don't counter that, then I play Glint Hawk anyway and they just counter it. Yeah, there we go. Pick up the Tithing Blade. Pass. We know they have a Brine Barrow Intruder, so I guess I'll block the Miscreant so that I don't lose the Glint Hawk. But it's not great. Obviously, they still draw and discard. Draw 2 and discard 1. We're down to 3. I assume we'll get something countered on our turn. I mean, it wasn't a great hand to keep, and it did not pan out. So it happens. Another Miscreant. We'll play a Skyfisher, and there's the Spell Stutter. Alright, well, we generally have a decent matchup here, but obviously it's a little tough when you don't have the best hand. Thorn feels like it's difficult to keep here. Thraben Charm is just worth cast down. Tithing Blade does not always hit what we want it to, but being recurable is still pretty good. I think that's probably fine. Alright, let's try to keep a good one this time. Well, it's not great. I can turn to a Refurb and then Skyfisher, but if we don't hit blue, we're going to be in trouble. Skyfisher's pretty good against them. We'll give it a try. Steel Sabotage. Yep. They got me good. Okay, well, good draw there. Awkward that it's on turn 2, especially after we have our Vault bounced, but still not bad. They Seer, scry 1 to the top. Please don't have another Sabotage. Oh, look, there it is. Grim Bauble off the top. Glint Hawk. Well, I could Ancient Den and Glint Hawk it back so that they can't block, but that doesn't seem very good. Just Steel Sabotage ourselves. We'd still be discarding, although we're discarding no matter what now. I'll just play a bridge. Get rid of this Gear Seeker Serpent, I think. We don't have double blue for it. It just looks expensive. And it gets counterspelled. Didn't think Time Walk was legal in Pauper. Yeah, you haven't played enough Pauper, it sounds like. It is, and it's even cheaper. Pretty dang good. I mean, we're just playing a Refurb here. They didn't have a Ninja, which is pretty good. They also didn't have a counterspell for the Refurb, which is pretty good. There's Galeblade. The Steel Sabotage is always really annoying, but I've found that unless they have pretty good pressure right after, it's not usually the end of the world. If I block, and then the second Refurb gets countered, I guess this makes it so that the Skyfisher is less likely to get countered by a Spell Stutter sprite. If they have a Brine Barrow, that's fine. And they found the Ninja, okay. So Galeblade back in hand. So let's just Refurb, hope they didn't draw in a null, and then we can Skyfisher back the Refurb. There was no way I could Refurb Glint Hawk Refurb because I had to play an Artifact land, and my only untapped black source for the second black was a Swamp, so a bit unfortunate, but I can do it next turn, assuming none of these get countered. They have a Galeblade and 2 unknowns. I will block... here's the tough choice. I can block here, which prevents the loot, but then if they have another Ninja, they pick up a Brine Barrow, and then they just play it to keep this from dying anyway. So I could just block the Brine Barrow, and then unless they just have a Brine Barrow in hand, I definitively get to eat a creature, which is kind of what I want. I think I'm going to block here. I don't care too much about the loot if they're on 3. Obviously, if they have another Ninja, then they get to actually draw, which is pretty good, but I can't stop that regardless, and I'd rather kill the Brine Barrow Intruder. So, alright. Not the end of the world, especially because I get to Refurb Glint Hawk Refurb. Almost definitively. Discard a Miscreant, so they still have a Galeblade. I guess they could just have a counterspell for the Refurb. That'd be annoying. Alright, Fairy Seer, so now they need an annul again. Scry 2 to the top. I mean, we're just going to go for trying to take both of their cards here. Dispel. Not as mana efficient as it could be with the Cryogen Relic and stuff, but I think taking both of their cards, Spell Stutter Dispel, is fantastic. They got 2 cards that they kept on top, but it's... I mean, Evel Mind's a pretty good one, I will admit. And another Evel Mind. Okay, well, they still need some decent removal to get through here. Compass, Cryogen Relic. There's the Shrivel. Right now it would be a 2 for 2, losing the refurb. I think we can get more value out of it later, probably. I'll just Compass. If they have a Spell Stutter for it, that's fine. They probably would have used it on the Cryogen if they had. And we're just passing. We win the late game, and no reason to even attack with one creature and give an opening for their ninjas to get through. Especially with the double of one mind, they could have a bunch of new cards in hand. And scry 1 to the top this time. Lose focus is pretty decent. Still kind of want to get more value out of the Shrivel, so I can Cryogen here, and if they go for a Spell Stutter or something, I can lose focus on it. And I think we just hold up lose focus. Since the game is stuck, you win. Yeah, 100%. I think I'll crack a Cryogen. Just one hit more land drops, and we have plenty of Cryogens to running around. Play that, and yeah, we'll still just run this out. Pass. There's the 4th Cryogen. They didn't counter any of the previous ones, so I'm going to assume it's going to resolve. Island. They weren't playing islands before, so that was probably their top deck. Or they're going to try to make something happen this turn. I mean, we have one lose focus to stop something from happening, but after that, even if they did get in with an attack, we can Shrivel and Cryogen Relic to tap everything down. Cast down's pretty nice. Yeah, this is probably just going to take a little while, but we should be able to get there in the end, ideally. Crack another Relic. I'll leave a couple around. Another lose focus. Gear Seeker Serpent. So if I cast that, they could just have a counter spell. I could lose focus back, but only for 4 mana, that is, which means they can probably counter it. I've won this match in a local by flipping 2 blades and waiting 10 turns. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Of one mind, sure. If we get a blade down, we'll obviously be doing that exactly. Double cast down. Alright. Thought cast, sure. If they want to counter that, so be it. Play Razor Tide. 3rd cast down. They're doing something. CryoBlade. That's fine. Island. Vault. Well, they're going to mill out before us. Perfect. 28 more turns to go. Alright, there's a Glint Hawk. So I want to cast a Glint Hawk. They Spell Stutter it probably. Just if I don't play something, I'm going to have to discard, which I don't really want to do. So I got to play something. Gear Seeker Serpent feels like tougher just because I lose more loose focus stuff. I'll just go for a Glint Hawk. If they do Spell Stutter, then I could like Shrivel afterwards. I could also triple cast down, but that seems a little aggressive. Yeah, so let's go for a Gear Seeker now. If they counter this, then I can Shrivel. Okay, that just works. Alright, we'll just pass them. Gear Seeker down is a bit of a win. Lose focuses are obviously losing some value as the game goes on. I've also drawn mostly non-blue lands, which is makes it a little tougher. But Gear Seekers can start getting in there. If they have like a Bind the Monster or something, then that's fine. They'll still take a chunk of damage. Pass the turn. Skyfisher. I'm going to start swinging with this guy. Jump with the Hacker. Sure. Pass the turn. Alright, they're attacking. All of this to get down 1 ninja, I assume. I could cast down before blocks, but I kind of think it's fine. They're going to pick up a Galeblade, so they're not going to get any ETB trigger. I'm not going to do the cast down in combat, because then they can just pick it up. They probably have another ninja, but now they have no spells. They have no fairies, which means that the cast downs can't get spell stuttered. So like if they cast a fairy here, I'm just going to cast down some ninjas in response. In fact, I'll probably just do it regardless. Like Dispel, sure. Let's see about this one. Spell stutter, sure. And then they have a second spell stutter. Going to cast down this one, so then that one doesn't matter. Kill this. They have a Galeblade in hand. Gonna crack this to keep this ninja tapped. Grim Bauble is great. Glint Hawk, perfect. Alright, now I'm just gonna bauble everything away. If they try to spell stutter this or counter in any way, I'll just lose focus. Steel Sabotage. Yeah, I think this is valuable enough. Oh, apparently I didn't replicate it. Oops. Well, they conceded anyway. Well, that was nice. I could still just use the other lose focus. I apparently just forgot to click replicate. But we were definitely gonna win that one. So pretty nice. Just 3 creatures able to hold off their entire board for like 10 turns there or whatever it was. Oh boy. Well, we're gonna keep this. We need another black mana so that we can like get a duress to go off, make sure the coast is clear for like a Shrivel, but feels pretty decent. A little slow, obviously, because they can get off a ninja right here. Another Miscreant. Into the Moonscircle Hacker. Steel Sabotage. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I was gonna just Shrivel away 2 guys. No Hacker, I guess, is nice, but Vault of Whispers, come on. Bajuka Bog. I guess that's a black land that doesn't get Steel Sabotaged, so we'll play that. And I think I'm just gonna discard an Ancient Den. Get a little greedy, because that's never been a bad thing. Fairy Seer. If they tap out here, obviously I can get a nice Shrivel off. If they don't, which I assume they won't, then I'll probably just play Mistvault Bridge and go for the Duress Shrivel turn 3. I guess turn 4, actually. Ooh, Vault. I guess I could Duress now to try to make sure there's no Steel Sabotage. And if they just Spell Stutter, it's not the end of the world, but then If they have a counterspell for the Shrivel on turn 4, it's kind of rough. Also, if I play a land, don't use Duress, and then they have another Sabotage to bounce it again, I might be forced to just go for it with the Shrivel. I could just Tithing Blade here, and then they spell stutter that, and that's fine, because then next turn I can Duress and Shrivel. I think we'll just go for this play. If I did do that, like Tithing Blade, and they spell stutter, and then they have a Ninja for the spell stutter, then the Duress doesn't even clear that. I mean, that's still the case for if I use it here. I don't know. They didn't have a Ninja so far. We're hoping that continues. Now I'll Duress, bind, double of one mind, and a spell stutter. I guess bind the monster, because if I get a creature, I'd like it to be able to block, and also taking an of one mind doesn't do a ton here. So I feel like if I Tithing Blade, that gives them the ability to cast the spell stutter, and then they get to of one mind next turn. Whereas if I cast nothing, then they probably don't spell stutter. They feel obliged to hold it up again, and then I can go for like Shrivel, or like Tithing Blade Shrivel, or just Shrivel, lose focus would work too. And I just hope they didn't draw Dispel. Shrivel. I kind of think Shrivel, because I'd like to have the lose focus for later. I think. I mean, if they just let this go, that's also fine, obviously. So I could counter, and then I just have a ton of removal for later, but they get to start casting of one minds. This also does get got by a Dispel. I think I'd rather just cast another Shrivel. It's safer against a Dispel if they drew it, and I just kind of want to have some stack interaction as opposed to all board interaction. Yep, they're going to start casting of one minds. Hidden Island, but no one drop, at least not at sorcery speed. I could just hold up the lose focus, but I think I need to make something happen, so here's a Cryogen. Glint Hawk would be great. Skyfisher's also good enough. That is unrelated. Let's, please. Alright, here's a Skyfisher. Pick this up. Compass. Well, I might as well play that. I have nothing else to play. Gain some life. Makes our mana easier. That was a good turn. The double Shrivel into Cryogen, Skyfisher, Compass. Really, really nice. And they might just cast another of one mind here. Perfect. Gives us plenty of time to do other stuff. Bauble's not bad. Let's play a Relic. If they try to counter this, I'll probably lose focus. They let it go. Gear Seeker. Can't play that yet. Don't think there's any reason to attack. I mean, I have a cast down and a lose focus, but I think we're just holding back in case they have a flash creature. There's a Fairy Seer. I kind of want to crack this Cryogen. Grim Bauble and Tithing Blade are pretty decent cards to bounce. Uses our mana. I really need to... my blue mana is pinched already, because this I want at least 2 blue for. This I need 2 blue for. Yeah, I think we're going to go for it. Generally, you don't want to sacrifice it when you only have 1 around, but this is a matchup where Grim Bauble is crazy powerful, so... assuming that stays around, that's a great card to bounce anyway. And we get blue and a Glint Hawk, so absolutely perfect. So I think we Tithing Blade here, because if they go for a Spell Stutter, I can cast that down, and then if they go for something else, I can lose focus that. Whereas if I just Bauble, it's going to be a lot harder to Spell Stutter. So cast this down. I guess they have a Dispel. I can't lose focus it, but there's another one. All right, hoping for no Dispel here. All right, looks like it worked. Counter that, kill that, and then this enters, and then it immediately goes away with the Tithing Blade. Still no reason to attack. Their last card could be Ilvoy, Galeblade, and a Ninja, so I don't want that to happen. Fairy Seer. What a stack. Yeah, that was incredible. Really nice it went our way, because if they just had to Dispel or whatever, we would have been hosed. 1 top, 1 bottom. And now I could Grim Bauble. If they have another Spell Stutter, see, they've already gone through 3. If they do, then it's kind of rough. But then I guess I get my Glint Hawk to resolve. I will just go for it. If they have the last Spell Stutter, so be it. If they just have a counter spell, that's totally fine. So then I get to Glint Hawk, pick up the Tithing Blade, and Gear Seeker Serpent. And we're able to get the match. Yeah, that was great. Generally, I think a pretty favored matchup for us because we have a good amount of removal and we have mostly flyers. But any matchup against Mono Blue Fairies, I feel like is very skill intensive, at least for me. All right, round 4 here. Double Gear Seeker is looking a little awkward just because we currently only have 2 lands, but otherwise the hand looks pretty good. And we're on the draw, which means you can keep anything. Okay. Well, they're going to have Tron before we can do anything about it, unfortunately. Thorn could be pretty good in this matchup. I could hold up a lose focus for when they have 7 mana here. I feel like they're probably going to cast something, but the first things they're going to cast are like Energy Refractors. I can't counter those. I don't know. I don't feel like it makes a ton of sense to just hold up lose focus and waste the tempo if we don't get to counter something good. Plus, we need to hit our 4th land to hit this Thorn pretty badly. There's the Prism that I wouldn't be able to counter. And then if they cast like a Muldrifter or whatever, yeah, I would wish I'd have the focus up. But Pact Altair, that's fine. I can Tithing Blade that away. So I'm assuming Ultratron. Could be eggs, but, well, Star makes it... I guess Star is probably in both. Yeah. Alright, so I could Tithing Blade, I could hold up a lose focus, I could Glint Hawk. Glint Hawk's not mana efficient, holding the lose focus does not do anything, and Pactol Terror is scary, so I'm just going to kill it. Plus, if I'm trying to land a Thorn, I'm going to need to kill the creatures anyway. Then you got an Eviscerator's Insight to draw 3. Candy Trail, 2 to the bottom. I do have the artifacts. I could just go for like a Gear Seeker refurb to try to pressure him a little bit. There's a Golem Foundry. Candy Trail. I mean, we might need the Gear Seeker just so we don't take a bunch of damage off the Golem Foundry. I guess if we don't top deck a land, we probably need to play Glint Hawk to pick up the Relic to try to get there with the land. Chromatic Star. We did, but it's a tap land, so no Thorn. I can't double refurb them. Yeah, I kind of think refurb Gear Seeker makes the most sense. Loose Focus might be relevant because of the Replicate, but not when we have so little mana, and we need to have some actual pressure first. So let's do this. This is a match where these being Mirror Enforcers could have been really nice because I could have played 2 of them and still been able to cast Glint Hawk or Loose Focus or something. And obviously we'd have more damage quicker. But these also can attack past a Fangren Marauder, which could be relevant at some point. Inside a Star, play a Wellspring. How would a Paper Wrath be costed if one existed, and should it exist? That's an interesting question. If by Wrath you mean just actually a Wrath of God or whatever that says destroy all creatures, just thinking of Tron getting to tap 4 black to Languish. Yeah. I think 6 mana would probably be the cheapest for it to not be just busted, because like I was literally just talking to a buddy the other day about if Languish was downshifted to common, it would be incredible. Like -4/-4 is going to kill just about everything in the format. Obviously, not quite with Gruul and Terror and stuff like that. But, I mean, Gardens would just go nuts for a board wipe like that. So, yeah, 6 mana probably would be necessary. Should it exist? I don't know. I kind of like that we do have board wipes. It's just you have to jump through some hoops to get them. I feel like that's kind of fun and part of what makes the format kind of interesting. All right, thinking about this turn, I could just kill the Terror with a Glint Hawk Tithing Blade. It doesn't feel like it does that much because, I mean, obviously it stops us from taking a bunch of damage. I could just Thorn and we keep our Monarch. We're drawing 2. I guess we kind of need to find, like I can Glint Hawk, I can't Glint Hawk Tithing Blade anyway because they have the Golem Foundry, so that's not going to kill the Pactol regardless. So that kind of sells it. I probably should just Thorn. Yep. All right. Death Touch Krark. Yeah, Death Touch Krark. Crypt Rats is just really expensive, or you could Death Touch Crypt Rats. I guess those are really the only main ways to wipe the board, isn't it? Guess the motto would be Evankar's Justice. Yeah, I mean, 4 mana for 2 damage, 7 mana to buy back. Pachuca Bog, we have, what's the Sulphurous Blast or whatever? It's 2 red, 2 damage to each creature and player, but then if it's during your main phase, it's 3 damage. I think that's like the biggest board wipe we actually have. Not that it's really played at all. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think a card that just says destroy all creatures should be in Pauper at all. Because I think it would either be too powerful or too expensive. Like, 6 mana, I think it would probably see a ton of play. I think it would see play in all of the Gardens decks, all of the hard control decks, of course Turbo Fog, like stuff like that would just play a million of it. But yeah, 6 mana just like those decks could still use it, but you could cost it at like 8 mana and then it's probably just unplayable in any way. So I don't really think a card like that needs to exist. I wouldn't mind, you know, there could be like a 5 mana -3/-3 to everything. You know, give a little buff to Arms of Hadar, but make it not a buff. Make it 5 mana and make it -3 to everything. So like a bigger Drown in Sorrow. Or a Sulphurous Blast that isn't black. Like, that could be interesting, but I don't think we really need an actual Wrath. Not nearly an Anger of the Gods. Yeah, exactly. Not as cheap. Exile, super relevant. Yeah, got it. Downshift Decree of Pain. I mean, I guess Decree of Pain has the cycling mode for 5. That's -2/-2 to everything. That'd be pretty good, because then you know, it's your more expensive Arms of Hadar, but then you also have 8 mana to destroy everything, draw a bunch. I think that would probably be fine. It's too powerful, too great of an effect to really be seen at common, I think. But I don't think it would necessarily be too strong. Let's see, we're at 11. They have 3 golems they can make. We are dying. We kind of just need to draw, like, Cast Down or Thraben Charm. Pachuca Bog would be really nice here. Did they buy back? They had a Conjurer's Bauble, so they put the Pactol back into their deck. Interesting. Yeah, I guess we gotta Glint Hawk the Cryogen. Best I can think of would be 5 black to Languish, and you gain 1 life for each creature that died. Yeah, that could be interesting. Okay, there's a Thraben Charm, so maybe we're not dead. Kill the Terror. They can make 3 guys at instant speed. And then they, like I said, they put 1 with the Conjurer's Bauble. So it is eggs, I'm pretty positive, based on all the eggs we're seeing. I guess they have Golem Foundry, so probably Ultratron 2. I don't know. I guess it could be both. Some mashup. Sack eggs. Is that different from just normal eggs? Pactol is the combo. Sure, yeah. I gotcha. Yeah, so Bojuka Bog can do some work here, but they put back one of the Pactols, so I'm only getting rid of one of them here. I have block, and I guess double block. Doesn't really feel like attacking for 2 does much here, so let's just pass. It's the old Ashnod's Altar, Mirror Loop with Doll to get the actual win. Yeah, that's what I was saying with it's Ashnod's Altar, Altertron. But then I don't usually feel like I see Conjurer's Bauble and Chromatic Star in that version, so I wasn't sure if it was like a hybrid, and they were also playing like the Cost Reducer, the Foundry Inspector, that's it. I heard Altertron, my bad. No. I wasn't sure if it was Altertron or Eggstron. And yeah, because it just looks like a hybrid, but I assume Alter. Also, they have a Black Mage's Rod, so that's probably just going to kill us then. We have Dust to Dust in the sideboard. And what else is going to help with this? More Thraben Charms, Duress, Goliath Paladin, I suppose. I just think we need to downshift Armageddon, so I can just blow up all my opponent's Tron lands, just keep all of my bridges. That seems like it'd be pretty good, pretty fun for the format. I have no idea what set could print a 7-mana Board Wrath at common. Probably none. That's part of why I don't think it'll ever be seen as even in like a Commander Masters or something. Like 7-mana board wipe is pretty much not playable anywhere. I mean, you could throw it in like a Commander set, I suppose, because they already have very expensive board wipes, and then the rarity doesn't really matter at that point. But yeah, it'd be a weird one for sure. All right, we can only draw 1 card with this Cryogen, plus 1 card at the end step. I have to cast this down. Even if I do, they just re-equip it. Pretty sure I'm just dead. Yeah. All right. Thraben Charm. Oh, actually, just all these white spells. And Duress. We don't need Fumes. Tithing. I mean, it did catch it there. Grim Baubles we don't need. Or Compass. Tithing Blade did catch the Pactol Terror, but then the second one was kind of useless. Lose Focus feels not very good, as it just loses its value super quickly. We're not going to be able to out-replicate their Tron lands. And Cast Down's needed for sure. Thraben Charm. I mean, I'm not even sure Goliath Paladin's like incredible, but, you know, they're probably just not likely to take the Monarch or the Initiative, so it feels like kind of a freebie. But it is expensive. Like, I'd rather a Gear Seeker I can play early-ish to start dealing damage. But we'll try cutting one of those. Let's see what we can do here. Board wipe and take the initiative. Yep, that seems very fair. Even at 7 mana, that seems quite strong. I mean, it's probably not breaking any formats at that cost, I admit, but when it resolves, it's just going to be bonkers. All right, on the play, and I don't think a bunch of lands and a Thraben Charm's going to get there. Oh, I have a turn 5 Goliath Paladin. Yeah, I kind of feel like I might want the pressure of a Gear Seeker Serpent rather than the value of a Glinthawk. Seems crazy, especially because I don't even have the Gear Seeker definitively, but I don't know. What does the value do if we just lose to their late game? Feels like Candy Trail. I mean, that's not a map, at least. 1 to the top. Refurb. Well, I guess I played the wrong land to start. If I had drawn a Cryogen, then it would have been the right land, so it was kind of just a toss-up, but unfortunate. Wellspring. There's the Paladin. All right, well, we get a good turn here. We get to Refurb, Thoughtcast, Glinthawk, and then next turn we can Thorn. All right, Insight the Wellspring, play a Candy Trail, and we get a Cryogen. Probably just Thorn. Otherwise, I could Refurb and Cryogen. Doesn't even do much difference. Like, I get 1 more damage a turn, but I think Monarch's pretty good. Dust to Dust is pretty good too. This also gives us an extra draw. Well, I guess the Cryogen would just the same, but an extra draw to hit an untapped land, so we can also take the Goliath Paladin, take the initiative next turn. Also, we're just looking for a blue land for the Gear Seeker Serpent. There's a Golem Foundry. All right, probably gonna just Dust to Dust that. That and a Candy Trail, I guess, isn't the most value, but I'd rather they don't get any golems off of it. And I assume they'll play like a 1-drop here, so yeah, golems could be coming next turn. Plus I get to Refurb Dust to Dust, that's not bad. Yeah, tap land, so next turn we can Paladin. We'll Refurb first, so that they might discard something that once I get rid of the Golem Foundry, they'll end up wanting. Like a second Foundry or something, maybe, but Fangred Marauder, okay. Well, get rid of those. Oh, I forgot to play my land. That is very unfortunate. What a goof. I just did so much stuff that turn. I was like, oh, this is all I have. We did get a Bojuka Bog, which is pretty nice. It'd be especially nice if we had our 5th land on board. There's a map, but they only have 1 Tron land. All right, well, hit for 5. Now all we have to do is Cryogen, Duress. I mean, they got 2 cards. Probably something to hit. Nope, double Pactol. Okay. So I could Bojuka Bog away an Insight. They're going to get a land. Insight draws. Yeah, I think we do. Insight's their only card draw except for like their random artifact cantrips on the board. This would be a lot better if I just Paladin to last turn, because then I just have lethal on them this next turn, and so we've given them an extra turn. But I figured I was stomping too hard that I gotta give them something. Not really. Play the tower, Insight a star, so that was their top deck. Pretty nice. They're gonna play Pactol. Yep. To 11, Skyfisher. Probably still just playing Paladin. I could like Skyfisher take one card, but they have 4. I could Cryogen, but that's not great. The graveyard isn't relevant. Not super relevant. It's 1 insight, but we're going to swing with the team, play a Paladin, tutor up our basic, but still just play a Mistvault Bridge here. I mean, second Terror, then they start gaining 2 life for every artifact they play. Can be kind of brutal. Crack their Candy Trail. Play Nurse's Tower, so still no Tron is nice. And they play the Terror. They have a 1-drop. Yep, so up to 13. Yikes. Let's see, I could Forge, which obviously puts them dead quicker, but I kind of need to get rid of these terrors, so I kind of want a Lost Well. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. Scry. Get rid of those lands. Another Thorn. Not quite where we want to be. I could just take 2 cards away from them with the refurbs. I could have put 2 counters on the Goliath Paladin and I would have been able to attack for 5 with it, but I don't know. Like I said, I thought this was probably the better play. Maybe not. I think we're just drawing cards with the Cryogen, trying to find that removal. Perfect. Dust to Dust is exactly what we needed. Get rid of 2 Pactols. Replay the Cryogen. Alright, well, it worked. The scrying and everything ended up paying off. Now I'm feeling pretty decent. Crack their star for a black mana, and they concede. Alright, got that one, and we'll try again. Alright, 2 lands. If we had all our colors, then I could Cryogen here, and then Glinthawk, and then Thoughtcast, but if we just don't hit blue, we lose that game 100% of the time. This is good. We'll get rid of 1 Cryogen. Start with a star, another Glinthawk. There's a power plant, and a prism. We're just gonna Cryogen. Alright, they're drawing 3. No Tron yet. That's a good sign. But they found it. Lucky them. Play a star and a map. I mean, if we don't hit an untapped land, and then this Glinthawk Sky Relic is just really awkward. But I still think we do that over playing the refurb, because we could hit untapped land. No. Well, it feels like we're very behind. We're not having the cleanest start, and they're having a pretty good one. Foundry Inspector. Oh, look at that. So it is eggs. I mean, they still have the Golem Foundry and the Pactol Terror. But I haven't seen an altar at all. I assume there isn't one. And instead they're using the Foundry Inspector to go infinite. Black Mage's Rod. Yep. Insight the map to draw 2. All their 1-drop artifacts cost 0 with the Inspector. I'm just going to have to cast down the Inspector probably. I guess Dust to Dust would be a great draw. Hit both of these at the same time. Keep my cast down. Urza's Tower. Ancient Den. Okay, so I guess I get to Cryogen and cast down, but I feel like I have to kill this. Otherwise they just get way too much mana out of it. We'll start with the relic though. Shoot this, and I guess I'll trade 2 damage for 2 damage. We are generally supposed to be the more aggressive one here, I think, so that's part of why I want to do it. But of course, if they just ping us a million times with the Black Mage's Rod, then the 2 damage could end up being a bit of a backfire there. Another Black Mage's Rod. Well, now we really need the Dust to Dust. Chromatic Star pings us for 2. Insight down to 14. They can attack for 2, so we're at a virtual 12. 2 mana left. They're even going to Insight away one of the prisms. That's kind of interesting. Yours is mine. They got another one, sure. Yeah. Definitely felt like, it feels like attacking for 2 there was a bit of a mistake. Let him get 2 damage for no reason. Refurb. I mean, my best draw off this Glinthawk relic is Dust to Dust. If we don't get that, I feel like we're kind of dead to these guys. Oh, look, we did get it. That's great. Maybe we can survive then. I guess I could take away all their colored mana, but I don't think that's as important as just not dying right now. And now, should I attack for 2? I guess we're trading 2 for potentially 1 if they want to attack with one of these. Well, we'll go for it. Why not? I mean, they could just have Pactol Terror and then a bunch of other stuff, and we could die just the same, but the Dust to Dust was clutch there. Candy Trail, 1 on top. Prophetic Prism, that's the 4th one. Wellspring, Pylons, Bin a Tower, got plenty of lands, I assume. They are going to swing. I assume they just have no other use for these tokens. I mean, they could Eviscerators Insight them. I don't know. Maybe the 1 damage will be relevant. Vault of Whispers, so I could triple refurb if that's something I want to do. they're still at 7 cards, and it feels like they've got plenty of lands probably kicking around, so I don't think the refurb's that powerful. So I could Paladin or I could Cryogen a bunch. They didn't use up all their mana. I mean, obviously they could have some instant speed. Oh, they have an Insight in the Grave. So yeah, they're just going to flash back one of those. I guess we probably need to draw a cast down. So the moment they get a Pact Altera, we can just kill it. Cast down or Thraben Charm rather than just letting it sit around and deal us some damage. So let's go for the Cryogen. I could also go for Goliath Paladin because like it shortens their clock significantly, but I don't think that's quite where we want to be yet. Plus, I get to just play a bunch of birds at the same time, so we're already shortening their clock a lot. Attack for 4. I mean, I'm still going to play the refurbs because we just get more damage quicker. This is 8 damage, which is a 2-turn clock, but obviously if they gain any life, it's not. Bajuka Bog. So I could play another one, but I have to play this, or I could just play a Cryogen. I think we just go for the mana efficiency and the card draw to try to, like I said, hit those removal spells, which we're not at the moment. There's the Insight flashback. They've seen 2 Black Mage's Rods, but no Pact Alteras thus far. But I'm sure they'll be not too far behind. There's a Candy Trail, 2 to the bottom. Have you jammed the Ninja Affinity yet? That one looks really promising. I have not. I'm not sure if you're talking about the Dimir one or the Esper one, because I've seen both of those running around, but I will say that the second league we're going to do here, once we finish this one, is going to be Esper Ninja Affinity, the Esper one. Yep, we are doing that next. We were testing this list, which is pretty similar to my list, but with a few changes, and then that is exactly what I have planned for our second league today. But there's also been a Dimir Ninja Affinity going around that looks pretty cool too, although I did play a version of that like a year ago, but it's gotten a little more refined recently. They Campfire, nothing else though. Gonna discard a few cards. Well, Campfire can shuffle everything back in. Obviously, you can just gain up some life, which does mildly throw off our clock. Discard 2 lands in crop rotation. Thorn of the Black Rose. So I could Thorn or I could Paladin. Still feel like I need to be drawing for that removal. So let's go for the Cryogen. Duress. That's maybe something. We'll take a look. Moment's Peace. Sure. Good to know about, I guess. Another Moment's Peace. Expedition Map, Chromatic Star, Conjurer's Bauble, Conjurers. I feel like I just take another Moment's Peace. If I can find a Bajuka Bog or something, then we can just get rid of them. This also just holds us off the longest. Well, no reason to attack. I guess we'll just play the Thorn, because that feels the most beneficial here. They had 2 Moments Peace, so I'm not really sure whether they would cast one in response to me duressing them, because they could just let me take one and then flash it back, although with the Campfire maybe they want them to stay around and not get exiled, but still. Crack a Candy Trail. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking for my card draw for a while. They flash back an Insight. Okay, still haven't found the Terror yet. Glenhawk is good because it lets us draw some more. Another Candy Trail. Scry 2 to the bottom and then crack it. There's one of the terrors. Bauble. I mean, yeah, they could just have enough triggers with just the Terror to kill us here. Can't do much about it, unfortunately. Chromatic Star. We're down to 3. They have 2 more in hand at least. Bauble, map, and another map. Well, we had 1 cast down and a timely Dust to Dust, but we had 4 Thraben Charms, 4 cast downs, 3 Dust to Dusts in the deck, and we just did not find what we needed, unfortunately. On to round 5. Happy Thanksgiving. Can't wait for you to use food tokens to reach Affinity. It's in theme and definitely viable in Pauper. I mean, I did just put up a food video yesterday. Not food affinity, but, you know, some people have been theorizing about making a food affinity deck in here for a little bit. But happy Thanksgiving to you all as well. Appreciate it. All right, we are on the draw. I mean, we just have some various utility. We don't have a lot of card draw, but we have good mana. I'm going to keep it. Valdarn Epicure. What are your holiday plans? I understand that some years your Thanksgiving is huge. Yeah, I mean, I don't generally... we live a little bit away from a lot of the rest of our family, so it's a bit of a drive to go up there for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we usually skip Thanksgiving going up to them. But yes, the family can be 25 people just as our immediate family, let alone, you know, extended family. But I don't have any plans for tomorrow, to be honest. My wife and I just kind of chilling. But then on Saturday, going over to my cousin's house, who lives a couple blocks from us. And we have a couple siblings in the area that are going to be hanging out as well. I'm just going to Grim Bauble this turn and get down my other tap lands. Hello, Marsh Flats from StrataGames. Hello, Trashman99. How's it going? This is my friend probably playing Rally. It appears to be that way, yes. Brutal start for us, for sure. Why is everyone playing Rally? I'm just kidding. I like Rally a lot, actually. So I could double refurb with a Glint Hawk here. Takes 2 of their cards, so we hopefully don't die to the burn. Then we have 2 blockers. I think that's our best bet. Otherwise, I could just like refurb, hold up a lose focus, but that doesn't seem super good. Good. How about you? I'm doing great. Having a good time here. Streaming and whatnot. I've been I haven't been streaming as much as I've been liking. The last couple weeks I've only done like once a week, and I've been meaning to do more. So ideally there will be more coming in the future. Yeah, keep your eyes out for that. I guess if we double block here, then Thraben Charm doesn't actually kill a creature, which is kind of unfortunate, unless we draw another one. But next turn we can cast down and lose focus. I think we can't afford to take the damage, unfortunately. I'm going to cast one of these down, and I think I'll take the other one and hold up lose focus for like a draw 2 or something. There it is. Hopefully not die to something. Okay, Epicure. Okay, that's fine. So I can Skyfisher back the bauble and just kill a guy. Yeah, I think that's the play. Then I have these for later. Hope that there's nothing that kills me off the top. No Fire Blast or Galvanic, please. Synth is a pretty good draw. Hits a Rally. That's pretty good too. We're down to 2. Where's my Compass? And that's not a bad draw, but we are dying to any bolt off the top at this point. This off. I guess I can't attack, because if they get another Rally, I'd just die. No, I wouldn't die because I go to 1, but maybe I should have just attacked then. I mean, we're dead to a lot of things anyway. Looks like using a blood token on a Burning Tree Emissary. Sure, the 2/2's not cutting it for them. Blood token away another Burning Tree Emissary. Aw, they found the Chain Light. Dead. Well, we get Blue Blasts, Duress, Shrivel, not Duress, actually. That's for, like, Madness. Compass, though. You got Thraben Charms, Thorns, Cast Downs. Yep. Alright, this is not bad. We have Grim Bauble for the first creature, Refurb for later. Well, yeah, like if they play a Tomb Raider or whatever, I can just Grim Bauble and Refurb next turn. Not the best Grim Bauble target. Could also just hold up Lose Focus. Kind of think that's probably worth it here, so that we don't get... Well, that's not something I really care to lose focus. I'd rather Grim Bauble that. If there's another one, then I'll counter that one. Alright. Has anyone tried an ally deck with the new avatar cards? That cleric that gains life for each ally, plus that dude that mills for each ally that enters. I have not tried anything with the allies yet. Could be interesting for sure. My brother was always a huge allies fan. Refurb. Get rid of a Galvanic. I probably just hold up lose focus here, because even if I trade off the refurb, I can Glint Hawk back a bauble. Oh, well, I guess we lose focus this guy. So they have to tap out for it, or they just have a red blast. Then they get to Gorilla Shaman away a land. Okay. They blow up the sea because it's our only blue. Luckily, we don't actually need the blue now. Trade here and then I can Grim Bauble. I think we're actually doing fine. That's pretty funny. They only have 1 card and we're at 15, so I'm not feeling too bad, but losing the blue is definitely a little annoying. Akun Battlesinger also seems sweet. Pumps allies, +1, +0. An ally enters. Cast on the fire. Stop attacking my lands, bro. I'm going to block the Percussionist. They get a Great Furnace. Perfect. Ancient Den. Just going to bauble their guy away. This allows us to start attacking. Obviously, if they get a haste guy, it makes it worse. But also, next turn, if I draw nothing, if I draw like another blue spell or whatever, I can Grim Bauble. I can cycle that to Surveil if I need to. They pitch a Bushwhacker. Yeah, not quite what they need at the moment. Razor Tide, that's a good draw for 2. I should probably leave this back at some point, though, because a rally off the top is just free damage if I don't have a guy back. Epicure, can't counter it. Probably wouldn't anyway, but discard a Mountain, sack the Bauble. Shrivel and a Refurb. Refurb we're keeping for sure. Shrivel's good, but not super necessary right now, and we have a Blue Blast to counter something. It's like a good insurance policy, I guess. Sure, we'll keep them both on top. Refurb their last card away. It's a Mountain. I think I'm going to keep swinging. I have them on a 4-ish turn clock here. Blue Blast and Shrivel can help us stay alive. I don't really want to have to use the Shrivel, though, because obviously it kills our own Refurb. They don't even attack with the Tomb Raider. That's crazy to me. I was going to say I probably would trade these, to be fair, because then I could Shrivel, and this isn't going to die. This is going to die to the Shrivel anyway. But, yeah. I guess I'll just swing here then, because I don't want to give them free damage on us, obviously. There's the rally. So I'm going to let this go. I'm going to hope they swing with the Tomb Raider this turn. No? Come on. Well, I want to Shrivel these away, but I wanted to trade these off. I guess we could just block. Alright, I guess now I'm just holding back, probably. Oh, that's a nice draw, actually. So I'll swing, and then I can Skyfisher back Glint Hawk, just to untap it, essentially. Give it Vigilance, bounce a land, replay the land. So now I have blockers. I have the blue blast up. Can't really attack. I could attack with a Glint Hawk. If they bolt the Skyfisher, I could blue blast it. I think we're just holding on. We should obviously have better draws, assuming we don't just get wrecked by variants. Suplex for the Skyfisher. Yeah, I think Skyfisher's pretty good. So let's try to keep that around. Cryogen's a nice draw. Refurb's a nice draw. Cast that. They have the Galvanic. Nice. Yeah, I can't pick off the Skyfisher. I maybe should have just shriveled to wipe these two away before I refurbed, but I think we'll be okay. I'm just going to hold back. Yeah, I probably should have, I think. Getting two guys wouldn't have been bad value. Then I could start attacking in, and now I can't really do it effectively. We don't have double blue, so I can't play the Gear Seeker. Just play a Relic. That's a nice draw. That gives us our double blue for next turn, and it just gains us some life. I'm going to swing now. If they kill this and swing back, I can Cryogen to keep down the Tomb Raider, Shrivel, wipe everything away. I can Gear Seeker, Serpent, Rally, sure. And then a Bushwhacker. Oh, well, that's pretty good, I guess. Let's see, I block here. They hit for 10, down to 3. Probably just block here, go to 2. Then we down to 1 Galvanic Blast. All right, we'll block here. Still going to crack the Relic, even though we're going to Shrivel. I just want to draw a card. I guess I didn't need to attack with the Refurb last turn. And then we could have had 2 extra life, and then we would not be dying to a Bolt here. But here's hoping we survive. Nope, just top deck the bolts. All right, well, we could have played that a little safer for sure. So what are you going to do? We ended up getting a 3-2 with the deck. Trying out the Gear Seeker Serpent to lose focus. And the Thorn. I can't say any of them like came up in their specific relevances enough to be like, oh yeah, I see why this is super, super good. Thorn was obviously decent against Tron because they couldn't really take it. Gear Seeker Serpent was okay, but not having free creatures felt a little bit worse. There were a few times where we didn't have the double blue as well, which felt rough. And the Goliath Paladin, just being in the sideboard, necessitates the Swamp in the main deck. There were quite a few games where I got pretty, like, I got a bad mulligan or, like, screwed a little bit by having both Bojuka Bog and Swamp. It just felt like I really needed my first 2 lands to generally be artifacts. So, yeah, I'm not sure necessarily if these are the right cards for me, if these are the ones that I like as much, but you know, they seem interesting enough. Certainly this is one league. I'm not drawing any major conclusions. They could definitely be better for a certain meta or if you're expecting certain cards, but overall, obviously the Esper Affinity shell still super, super fun, and I'm a huge fan of it. We're going to definitely do another league, but in case you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.